Oh, hello, great readers. I'm Belchan.
I'm Nimikung.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you. Chap. 27 Sec 4 of Jane Eyre, an Autobiography.
As.
Ah.
Jane Eyre, an Autobiography. Charlotte Brontë. Chap. 27 Sec 4. Eyre. It was with me, and I did not like it. Was a grovelling fashion of existence. I should never like to return to it. Hiring a mistress is the next worst thing to buying a slave, are often by nature, and always by position. Inferior. Familiarly with inferiors is degrading. Asked with Klein. Jacinthe. I felt the truth of these words. I drew from them this certain inference. Forget myself and all the teaching that had ever been instilled into me. Any pretext with any justification for any temptation to become the successor of these poor girls. Their memory. I did not give utterance to this conviction. To feel it, I impressed it on my heart. There to serve me as aid in the time of trial. Anne. Jane. Why don't you say well? Sir, I have not done. Pariv. You disapprove of me still. I see. To the point. Last January. Word of all Mr. Sish in a harsh frame of mind. The result of a useless, roving, disappointment, silly disposed against all men. Began to regard the notion of an intellectual, faithful, mere dream. Recalled by business. I came back to England. Winter afternoon. I rode in sight of Thornfield Hall. A poet's sport. Expected no peace, no pleasure there. Quiet little figure sitting by itself. The bollard willow opposite to it. Be to me. Good or have awaited there in humble guise. I did not know it. On the occasion of Messrs. Accident. Me help. Childish and slender creature. Hopped my foot and proposed to bear me on its tiny wing. Was surly. But the thing would not go. Strange perseverance. And looked and spoke with a sort of authority. Aided. And by that hand, and aided I was, had pressed the frail shoulder. Something new fresh happened since it stood into my frame, under my hand, and seen it vanish behind a dim hedge. Regret. I heard you come home that night. Jane. Were not aware that I thought if you were watched for you. Day I observed you myself unseen for half an hour, while you played with Edla in the gallery. It was a snowy day. I recollect. Out of doors. I was in my room. The door was ajar. I could both listen and watch. I proclaimed you out with attention for a while. Yet I fancied your thoughts were elsewhere. My little Jane. 10. When at last she left you. Reverie. You betook yourself slowly to pace the gallery. Now and then, in passing a casement, you glanced up the thick filling snow to the sobbing wind, and again you paced gently on and dreamed. Think those day visions were not dark. I occasionally soft excitement in your aspect, which told of no bitter, bilious, hypochondriac brooding, an ideal heaven. The voice of Miss Fairfax in the hall wakened. You yourself, Janet. There was much sense in your smile, and seemed to make light of your own abstraction. They may. Fine visions are all very well, absolutely unreal, but without. I am perfectly aware of rough track to travel downstairs and demanded. Of my Fairfax some occupation make up or something of that sort, I think it was vexed with you for getting out of my sight. Impatiently I waited for evening, when I might summon you to my presence. Character I suspected was yours, better, independent. You were quaintly dressed much as you are now. I made you dark. Along I found you full of strange contrasts, were restricted by rule. Eyre was often diffident, worn refined by nature, but absolutely unused to society, afraid of making herself disadvantageously conspicuous by some solecism or blunder when addressed. You lifted a keen, a daring. Into Lokich's face there was penetration and power in each glance you gave. Plied by close questions, you found ready and round answers. Seemed to get used to me between you and your grooming crossmaster. Jane, to see how quickly a certain pleasant ease tranquilized your manner. Would you showed no surprise, fear, annoyance, moroseness. You watched me, simple yet sagacious grace I cannot describe. With what I saw, I liked what I had seen, Seymour. Yet for a long time I treated you distantly, and sought your company rarely. I was an intellectual epicure, Brontë. Gratification of making this novel and pique acquaintance besides its bloomwood. Fate's sweet charm of freshness would leave it. Then know that it was no transitory blossom, one cut in an indestructible gem. Moreover, you would seek me if I should, but you did not. This schoolroom is still as your own desk and easel made you passed me. As in recognition as was consistent with respect. Your habitual expression in those days, Jane, was a thoughtful look, not despondent, for you were not sickly, but not buoyant, for you had little hope and no actual pleasure. I wondered why you thought of me, and resolved to find this out. But resumed my notice of you. There is something glad in your glance, and genial in your manner. You conversed. I saw you had a social heart. Schoolroom, it was the tedium of your life I thought made you mournful. Delight of being kind to you, kindness stirred emotion soon, soft in expression. Your tones gentle, lips in a grateful happy accent. You, Jane, at this time, manner, you glanced at me with a slight trouble, a hovering doubt, be stern, or the friend and the benignant of you often to simulate the first whim, and now cordially, such bloom and light and bliss rose dear young. Wistful features, don't talk any more of those days, sir. I interrupted, furtively dashing away some tears from my eyes. His language was torture to me, for I knew what I must undo soon and all. These reminiscences, these revelations of his feelings only made my work more difficult. No, returned, what necessity is there to dwell on the past? Here the infatuated assertion. You see now how the case stands, do you not? He continued. Solitude found you. You are my sympathy, me better self, me good angel. To you with a strong attachment. I think you good. Gifted, lovely, A fervent, a solemn passion is conceived in. My heart to you draws you to my centre and spring of. Life, existence about you and kindling in pure. Powerful flame and me in one. It was because I felt and knew. This resolved to marry you. Empty mockery, you know now that. I had but a hideous demon. Was wrong to attempt to deceive you. In no character. I feared early and still prejudice, save before hazarding confidences. This was courage, nobleness and magnanimity at first you. Not my resolution that word is weak, love faithfully and well it were. I am faithfully and well loved in return. Me yours. I pause. Why are you silent? I was experiencing an ordeal. A hand. A fiery iron grasped my vitals. Terrible moments struggled blackness. Burning. To be loved better than I was loved, I absolutely. Worshipped, and I must renounce love and idol. Jane, understand. What I want of you. Just this primacy will be yours. Wister. Rochester, another long silence. Jane recommenced tea. That broke me down with grief. Still voice was the Pandeval. Lion rising Jane, one way in the world. Jane bending towards and embracing. Me softly kissing my forehead and cheek. I do extricating myself from restraint. Rapidly and completely. Oh Jane, this is bitter. This is wicked. Raised his brows, crossed his features, he rose, but he forbore yet. Laid my hand on the back of a chair for support. I shook, I feared, but I resolved. One instant, Jane. Life when you're gone. All happiness would be torn away with. Ew. What then is left? For a wife I have that. Maniac upstairs, as well might you refer me to some corpse in yonder churchyard. I do as I do, trust. In God and yourself. Believe in heaven. Accursed? His voice rose. Advise you to life sinless and innocence from me? Wister. Rochester to you, then I grasp at it for myself. And endure is. Will as I do so. By such language, you silly. My honour. I declared I could not change. You told me to. My face I shall change soon. Distortion in your judgment, what a perversity in your ideas, your conduct. I'm a human lord now. My being injured by the breach? True, and while he spoke, my free conscience and reason turned traitors against me, and charged me with crime in resisting him, as feeling and that clamoured wildly. Oh. Comply, it said. Of his misery, think of his dingle cat. His state when left alone, remember his headlong nature, consider the recklessness. Following on despair, soothe him, save him. To be continued.